Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Complete Sports Media's podcast. I'm your host, Darren Campbell, and of course, joining me on a Monday to do a great weekend wrap-up of sports, we got Jason Cameron here. It looks like he's somehow got all the water off of him. I think he almost drowned today. They might have been lining up animals 2 by 2 by one of the boats close by because it was pouring rain today, more than we've seen in quite a while. I think they called it the atmospheric river again, and we got dumped on bad today.
Oh yeah, man, we certainly did. It was funny because it was a slow build since I kind of know since I was out there the entire day. It was a slow build from the morning, but then once it got to the afternoon, right around 2 o'clock, 2:30, it picked up, and then it was just it came down. It felt like the ocean was falling on you,
Yeah.
which is an enjoyable experience, really.
Yeah. I had to work outside a bit, but I was thinking about you having to be outside the whole time, and I was like, holy crap, this is gonna be tough for Jason today.
No, it was rough, but you know what? We got through it. We got through it. So, and luckily, I get to do it all over again tomorrow, and the next day, and the next day, and the next. So yeah, so it's fun. It's good.
Yeah. I'm glad you got good rain gear. You're gonna need it. Here it's pretty bad. One of the girls we were getting some props from today, she said, I think it's gonna rain for the rest of our lives. And I'm like, oh man, I hope not. The rest of our lives is a pretty long time. So that was she didn't sound too optimistic. It was stopping anytime soon.
No, I said, well, from the long range forecast that I saw, it's definitely going to rain for most of this week. Like the majority of this week is definitely rain. I'm just hoping it's not going to come down nearly as hard as what it was for the last couple of hours. Like, hopefully, there's a little bit of a let up. That would be nice.
Yeah.
Or else we're not going to have any roads to drive down because they're all going to be flooded. So.
Yeah, I couldn't believe all the massive flooding I've seen already, and it just kind of started today. So yeah, it's if it doesn't let up for a while, I think there's going to be some serious problems. Maybe not as bad as we had a couple of years ago when Abbotsford just totally flooded, but I think there's going to be flooding in quite a few different spots.
Oh yeah, man. Like even where I live, like there's one of the streets I turn up. I literally couldn't turn up that street because there was a lake there.
Wow.
And I'm like, well, not going through the lake because even just going past it a little bit came up pretty high on my car. And I was like, oh, okay. Going up a different street. Got
it. No doubt. Yeah. Yeah, I couldn't believe the chaos that's already ensuing. So hopefully it doesn't get super worse than it already is. It's pretty rough. It was an awesome weekend of sports again. Just we're so lucky we're sports fans, especially when it's super drizzly and crappy weather. Being home, being able to see so much sports, really great football, an amazing UFC card, just tons of really great stuff, and I can't wait to break it down with you today.
Oh yeah, no, man. It was a great weekend. It was also an exceptional weekend just to stay in, just chill out and watch some sports. So it was good. It was good.
Yeah. I gotta pause for a second here. The cats come in and just causing havoc in here. Just give me a quick second.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's annoying. Holy crap. It's just gonna come in. It started meowing, it started scratching things. It was going under my feet and just causing havoc. And yeah, pay attention to me. I need more attention. So I knew that if I didn't get her out of here, it would have just been a nightmare.
Yeah. It's just going to accelerate. Like that's what cats do. They're very good at doing that. Where it's like, oh, you don't want me around? Now I'm definitely going to be around. I'm going to bother you now.
Yeah, exactly. You're right. Yeah, you nailed it on the head. So, okay, so Friday night, I believe it was Friday night. The 2-game leg for Christine Sinclair's final 2 games of her Canadian national team career was coming to an end. She had a game over in Langford, just outside of Victoria, over on the island. Huge game against Australia. A friendly. They call them friendlies when they're not part of a tournament, part of, something. They have some very meaningful games coming up in February and on past that. But this is a friendly. They scheduled Australia to come in, keep them sharp, keep them busy as they're heading into the Christmas break. Australia was the ones that knocked them out of the World Cup in Australia this year. And so they wanted some revenge, but this was really supposed to be showcasing Christine Sinclair and giving her a really nice send-off in front of her home province, home fans. They sold out Langford Stadium. They've nearly sold out BC Place, Christine Sinclair Place. And so I'm very excited, really wanted to watch the game, really wanted to see the outpouring of support and love and everything for her. And guess what? It wasn't televised. It was not on any kind of cable TV that we're paying $200 friggin' a month to have. And it wasn't on TV. So I was pretty choked. And then I get home a little bit later and I turn on to see some highlights. And then I'm even more choked. I am just livid beyond belief, mad. Christine Sinclair didn't start the game. She was on the bench. They decided that they would keep her on the bench. And you can't even believe how long she stayed on the bench for. The Canadian team scored pretty early on, scored in the 10th minute, and then they dominated and they started really putting the pressure on. And they didn't put her in after it was 1-0. They didn't put her in after it was 2-0. They didn't put her in 3, 4, even 5-0 the score was before they finally decided to put her into the lineup. When all these fans have come to see her, paid hard-earned money to go and support her and cheer her on, and she doesn't enter the game until the 64th minute of the game. I was just shocked, blown away. I think they should fire the coach today and say, get the hell out of here. This is ridiculous that she would wait that long to be putting in the girl that everybody came to see. Can you believe it? It's just stunning. Stunning.
So is there some sort of politics going on behind the scenes? Because that's the only thing I can think of. Because let's put this in perspective that it needs to be put in. That would be the equivalent of putting Kobe Bryant on the bench for his last game and not giving him a chance to score 60 points on his way out the door. Yeah. It's pretty much the exact same thing.
Yeah.
You put Kobe on the bench and then you let him play some garbage time for his last game ever. That would never happen. No. That should never have happened. No. I don't even understand that. I don't get it.
No, I'm just beyond choked. And her last game, very, very last game, is tomorrow night. I've got tickets. And tell me, if she doesn't start that game, I'm going to go right down to the side of the field and I'm going to scream at the coach, put her in, put her in. I'm going to get everybody chanting, 45,000, 50,000 fans. Put her in, put her in, put her in. If they chuck me out of there, oh, well, I'm not going to stand for this. And I would have done the same thing if I was in Victoria. I really wish I would have been there. And I would have went up and down and I would have got everybody just saying, put her in, chanting. Like, this is unbelievable. This is just shocking that, she wouldn't start. And she better start and she better play the entire game tomorrow night.
Now you actually have to wonder, is the coach going to do that again? Like, I don't actually understand why he did that. Like,
no, it's a she. Her name's Bev Priest, man. It's a woman.
Okay, so I don't understand why she did that, because and that's all I can think of is politics. Maybe. Because otherwise that should never happen, right? That should never happen. She should play. So now with her last game, are you going to tell me that she's probably not even going to start? she might not even come in for the first half. Like that's just utter complete nonsense and garbage. So I hope that the higher ups have talked to the coach and said, yeah, okay, that was cool. No, it wasn't. She has to start tomorrow.
Yeah.
And like just be like, I know you're the coach, but we're telling you right now that she has to start and she has to play. Yeah. And now if you don't want to do that, that's cool. You just won't have a job tomorrow.
Yeah, well, I'd fire her for sure on the spot. You know, it doesn't matter if there's politics, doesn't matter. You know, she's 41 years old, 40, I think she's 41 years old. You know, for a very important game, maybe you know, she comes in when she's fresh legs coming in, but to not even play the whole entire first half and partway through the second half coming in, you know, maybe after 2-0, like I just after 5-0, the score's 5-0 before she even hits the floor. She even hits the pitch. They showed highlights of the game, and they showed one tiny little highlight of her where the ball was kicked far and away past her, and she ran to try to catch up, and the goalie grabbed it before she could. And that was it. That was the only highlight I saw of her on the pitch for the entire game. I was like disgusted and so blown away. And Canada soccer has been really, really, really underfunded and really pushed to the back burner so often over the years. But Christine Sinclair has put it back on the front burner and has been able to take Canada to unprecedented heights. And, you know, soccer has just really, really, really been rejuvenated in the last little while. Both teams making the World Cup, Canada winning the Olympic gold medal, and just many, many, many things. She's scored more international goals than any female or male in soccer history. This is her 331st game she's playing for Canada, and she announced early on enough that these will be her last 2 games, so people could come out, buy these tickets, be there. People leaving their homes in this torrential downpour, going to, you know, these stadiums to try to, you know, support her, and they can't even count that she's going to be totally in the game. That's not load management. That's just idiocracy and just complete stupidity, and it just infuriates me. And I'm just so unbelievably worried that if she doesn't start her, like I'm getting booted out of there probably, because I'm not just going to stand for it. I'm not.
I can understand. Like I look at our southern compatriots, the Americans. Would the Americans ever do that to one of their own? Never.
No.
They would never do that, right? And it's just shocking to me that we would do that to one of our own. It'd be the same thing as saying, Wayne Gretzky, last game, huh? You're on the bench. You ain't going.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, it's just so shocking. The other thing about it not being on TV is just absolutely stunning. We have a streaming service. It's called One Soccer, and they somehow made a deal with the Canadian national teams, and they have a streaming service that almost nobody subscribes to. It's very, 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 very minimally watched, and somehow 2 major sponsors had to step up and sponsor the game and pay enough money so that One Soccer would agree to let TSN show it tomorrow night. So this is the only reason why we're actually getting to see one of the 2 games on TV tomorrow night. This One Soccer is it was a ridiculous deal that they made, and you know, it's got a lot of flack ever since it did. And you know, it reared its ugly head this weekend, and it almost you know, was not even going to be televised her very, very final game, but luckily a couple of big sponsors stepped up, paid a ton of dough, make sure it's on TV. So it's also the final game of Sophie Schmidt and Aaron McLeod, 2 longtime members of Team Canada. So yeah, both of them will be retiring after this match for the game. So yeah, fingers crossed. You know, there was enough people complaining, enough people outraged by this benching and leaving her, on the bench till the 63rd, 64th minute. And I hope to be able to come on to this podcast next week and say how great it was. She came out, she scored a goal, she was embraced the entire game, and they had a big victory, and it was a really, really good night.
Well, I hope that is, or else it's going to be the complete opposite. So for the three players that were going to be their last game, all three got benched. Nobody ever played. You know what I mean? Like people would just be up in arms. And plus, on top of that, the sponsors paid for something.
Yeah.
They paid to see those players get their flowers, play the game, and be appreciated for all their hard work.
Yeah.
That's actually what those sponsors paid for. Now, if the coach says, no, I'm not going to do, okay, well, now you got a huge problem. Yeah. That would be a bigger problem than anything else you could ever imagine.
Yeah.
Because they paid for that.
We've had to deal with load management quite a bit in the NBA in the last 5 years. And, they did something about it this off season. They said we're going to put this in-season tournament. They actually had 2 quarterfinal games tonight. We're going to get to that, and I can't wait to talk about that. And it really, really, really has helped. They had about 1.5 million viewers for the games, and it was up about 20% from last year for the games over this last month. And it's really, really helped. And a lot of these sports have realized that fans are paying some hard-earned money, and all those fans that went to that game, I think it's going to have a hard time to ever support Canada soccer ever again. They went there and filled that stadium. If Christine Sinclair didn't announce that this was going to be her last game, I bet you there would have been 1,000 fans there, if that. This game at BC Place, they might have attracted 10,000 fans or something like that. They're getting over 40,000 fans, and it's mostly because of Christine Sinclair. So load management is a joke. We don't need it anymore. I'm glad the NBA is doing something about it. And Team Canada needs to really, really, really do something about it. The other good thing that I saw about Christine Sinclair was, did you see Scotty Barnes? He was wearing her jersey as he entered the arena and exited the arena on the weekend there. He had her number 12 Canada jersey on, and he said when he came out here for the Raptors training camp, he contacted her, asked her if he could get a jersey. She signed one, sent it over to him, and he said he's been wearing it ever since. He said, one of Canada's greatest sports athletes, and he just loves everything she's ever done. And he wanted to support her this entire week as she gets into retirement.
That's awesome. Yeah. That's an NBA player who happens to be an American.
Yeah.
That actually supports Canada.
Yeah.
And wants to be here. Because awesome. I don't think there's ever been any other NBA player that has outright supported a Canadian star like that.
No.
I don't think that's ever happened. I think this is number one. That's the first. That to me, you know what that signifies to me? That's a guy you build your team around.
Yeah. Yeah, we've talked about that. There was a lot of rumors of trying to get Kevin Durant, trying to get James Harden, trying to get this guy, trying to get Kyrie, trying to get a bunch of players over there, and they just said no. Scotty Barnes is not part of the equation. Not going to do it. And after moves like this, I see why. Really, really, goes above and beyond just what he does on the court. So awesome to see. I was really thrilled with Scotty, and he's got my support going forward all the time from now on.
Oh yeah, mine too as well. Like that just shows utmost character. That's what you want from your leader, and that's what you want from a captain of the team.
I can't wait to get into the NBA stuff. Big upset tonight already in the first game. And I'm recording both games, but huge upset in the first game, and 2 games tonight, 2 games tomorrow, and it's going to be fun to watch all these games as they come together. Lots of college football over the weekend. Big games, big deciding a lot of the huge conferences, and they finally named the top 4 teams that will go into the college football playoffs. number 1 Michigan will play number 4 Alabama in the Rose Bowl on New Year's Day. And the Washington Huskies ended up finishing number 2, and they take on number 3 Texas. Washington won against Oregon, finished the season 13-0. Fantastic year. And they will play in the Sugar Bowl in New Orleans on New Year's Day as well. And then the title game for the 2 winners will be January 8th at the Energy Stadium in Houston. So, yeah, really good to see Washington. The very, very last Pac-12 game in the history, they were able to beat Oregon. And I love going down to Huskies games. I've always been a big supporter of the Huskies. And what a fantastic year they had. It's really great. And they have a really good shot at winning the national championship.
Yeah, no, they had a fantastic year, great year. But I want to say, I think this is the first year that you could legitimately say that all 4 teams have a shot at winning it all.
Yeah, totally.
Like this is like one of those rare years where you can say any 4 of those teams can win.
I love it. Yeah. Yeah. Very, very top, very competitive teams. There was some programs that didn't get in. Florida ended up 13-0 and they didn't get in. A lot of angry people there, but you're right. These 4 teams all have a very legitimate shot, and I can't wait to watch those games on New Year's Day. I wanted to talk about Tiger Woods. He had his return tournament, first time teeing it up in about 7 months. This was a limited field tournament that he's the host of. So they only have 20 players that get to tee it up over the weekend, no cut. Tiger finished 18th out of the 20, so not the greatest. But there was times where I watched him and it looked like the Tiger of old. He made some fantastic shots. I was pretty impressed. It seemed like he got a little tired and worn out as the rounds wore on, and he started getting some bogeys and missing some shots later. And that could be rust. It could be, maybe not just being in the shape that he needs to be, but yeah, there was glimpses and some of his play that I was pretty impressed with. Scotty Scheffler ended up winning the tournament, getting the $1 million first place check. He finished at 20 under. Sepp Straka finished second, and he got $450K for that. And then Justin Thomas third, Tony Finau and Matthew Fitzpatrick both tied for 4th at 15 under. Tiger Woods ended up finishing even par for the entire tournament. Great to see him back. He said he wants to play at least 1 tournament a month in 2024. Let's see if he physically can do it. And he just moves the needle so much. He just makes a lot of people tune into tournaments that they might not normally. And it was great to see him back out there.
Yeah, no, he's an icon. And when you're an icon of that stature, yes, you're going to move the needle. And yes, people are going to always be interested in you, regardless if you're coming back, if you've been playing. Like, they want to see you play, right? Yeah. So, and it's good to see that he's back, he's playing. Obviously, he probably still needs to get up to speed, get up to Tiger speed. Yeah. But once he gets there again, he's always a pleasure to watch, but he's going to be even more so.
Yeah, it'll be great. The Major League Baseball is holding their annual winter meetings right now, and really good news coming out of there. The Blue Jays are still in the Shohei Ohtani sweepstakes. They're sweetening the offer constantly, I hear, and very close to maybe securing him. And also one of the top free agent hitters out there, Juan Soto, plays with San Diego Padres, has an opportunity. I hear that the Blue Jays are actually the favorite to be able to sign him. He's one of the best hitters of his generation. I saw the stat today that blew my mind. He has one of the best career on OPS in the history of baseball. The best since before the age of 25. Albert Pujols has the absolute best. Mickey Mantle, Mike Trout, Frank Robinson, and then Juan Soto. So you got looks like 4 Hall of Famers and then him. So, imagine if they could get Shohei and Juan Soto. This team suddenly would become probably the odds-on favorite to win the World Series.
Who are our owners? How are we paying that much money? Because you know how much money
Rogers.
Thank goodness, because I'm like, what are you? Because with those two players, you're kind of looking at. I'm ballparking here, but at least 650 million, right? Something
More
like
than
that.
No, I would say
700.
over a billion likely.
Awesome. That's all I can say. Awesome.
Yeah.
I didn't know we had that much money to spend for these guys. Okay. Yeah. But if we can get them, yeah, we would be odds-on favorite for sure because, well, nobody else is doing that.
I'm contributing every month to them with my phone here. That's a Rogers phone, and I'm tuning in. I'm paying my cable bill for Rogers. It's just they're making lots of money. They got $1 billion. They could spare $1 billion to bring those two guys in.
Man, that's cool, man. Like I don't know if they're the only team to be like, yeah, no, we spent $1 billion on two guys. And then we still have the rest of the team that we're paying. But yes, we got money. We got
the Seattle Mariners, they did a huge money dump today. They got rid of about $33 million off of their salary, and a lot of rumors that they're going to make a big push. Seattle has always been able to get a lot of Japanese players there over the years. And they used to be owned by a Japanese company. And so a lot of Japanese players that played back in Japan were Mariners fans and really always, would have liked to play with the Mariners if they came over here. So maybe they have a shot too. I was surprised at the players that they dumped off, and they got a couple of pitching prospects. And, they made the playoffs the last couple seasons. But, I was shocked. Maybe they are going to try to make that one last push to get the Japanese Shohei Ohtani in there.
Well, that would be pretty cool if they could. And I'm sure that they're using all of their past players like Ichiro trying to say, hey, man, go talk to this guy. Try to get him on board.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to pull out all the stops. Yeah, mine as well. Yeah, I'm sure. I'm wearing the Canucks jersey today. Canucks are still playing great. Another nice victory over the weekend. They were able to beat Calgary 4-3 in Calgary. Did you hear about the trade they made, Jason? On Thursday, they brought in a guy from Calgary. Did you hear about him?
No, I did not.
Okay. This is a Russian guy. His name is Nikita Zadorov. 6'6", 250 pounds, one of the biggest hitters in the game. And they ended up playing Calgary right after the trade. So 2 days later, boom, he's suiting up against his former team. A lot of bets being placed on who would be the first guy he fought on his former team. He was looking to take some heads off, and he's one of the biggest hitters in the game. And they paired him with Tyler Myers on the Canucks. And Myers is 6'8", 250 pounds. So they had 500 pounds and over 13 and a half feet on the ice when those two guys were paired up on defense. And it was pretty awesome to watch on Saturday.
So did they just beat up on the Calgary? Is that what they were doing? Just hitting machines, just like bing, 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 bing.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was so brilliant. And the Canucks would have the biggest defense in the entire NHL if it wasn't for their captain, Quinn Hughes, who kind of brings it down a little bit because Quinn's only 5'10", 180 pounds. And so, the average moved down a little bit, but Quinn's still doing amazing, right up there, tied for the defenseman lead. Right near the top of the league in points. And he is getting to play his two brothers tomorrow night here in Vancouver. New Jersey's visiting, and Quinn gets to play both the other Hughes brothers, which will be super fun to watch.
That is just so cool, knowing that you guys, all your brothers, all of you have made it to the highest level, and you get to just enjoy the moment and play against each other.
Yeah.
I don't know who the parents cheer for. Do they cheer for the team that has both brothers, though? And it's like, sorry, Quentin. It's like, no, we can't do
it. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe you just got to get a jersey sewed in half and one side Jersey, one side Vancouver. And I've seen other parents have to do that before.
Yeah, well, or the mom takes like the Vancouver, dad takes like New Jersey or whatever.
Yeah, that could have been, yeah. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing them battle each other. Always good to see the Hughes brothers, and the Jack is phenomenal this year, and Luke, the youngest brother, is a great rookie. So it'd be a fun game to watch. Anybody tuning in, check it out. Really, really great to see the Hughes brothers all going at it. Okay, that's kind of the weekend in sports outside of the NFL, UFC, and NBA. So let's go into the NFL. There was a lot of great games. Week 13 is coming to a close as of tonight. And we've got a Monday Night Football game going on currently. And let me pull it up here. The score, with about 2 minutes to go, Cincinnati has taken a 31-28 lead over Jacksonville. Really surprising. After Joe Burrow went down, Jake Browning coming in, everybody kind of wrote Bengals off. Season's over, and Jacksonville having a phenomenal year, coming in 8-3. But somehow the Bengals have been able to forge ahead, and they've got a 31-28 lead, 2 minutes left.
Wow, that's actually very impressive that they actually scored 31 points. That's number one. Yeah. Number two, that they're actually winning the game.
Yeah, I've tuned in periodically to watch it, and definitely seemed like Jacksonville was going to take it. Jacksonville scored the first touchdown. They were up 7-0. Joe Mixon was able to sandwich a touchdown to Evan Engram. So at halftime, it was 14-all. And then Jamar Chase got a 76-yard touchdown from Jake Browning. Cincinnati went ahead. Then Jacksonville scored 2 touchdowns in a row, and Trevor Lawrence getting one to put him up 28-21. And then now Jake Browning did a touchdown run in the fourth, and Evan McPherson hit a 54-yard field goal with 2:28 left. And yeah, I'm stunned. I'm really blown away at them being able to do it. So far, Jake Browning's 26 of 30 for 315 yards and a touchdown. And Joe Mixon with a couple TDs on the ground, and Jamar Chase with a nice touchdown through the air. Wow. I'm stunned. I would have put a lot of money on Jacksonville if I was betting tonight.
I would have put all my money on Jacksonville if I was betting, but luckily I did bet. I'm not a better. So yeah, man, like that's I'm impressed. I'm impressed that if they can hang on for the win, it's a real impressive win.
Yeah, incredible. I was a little bit disappointed that our guy Nathan Rourke went to Jacksonville this year, because I thought he probably wouldn't see the field. We're seeing some teams down to their fourth quarterback they're using this year. Cincinnati, New York, other teams, using second, third, fourth stringers. Trevor Lawrence is very durable and, has played every snap this year. So I was a little disappointed. I think Rourke could have saw the field if he was on another team.
Yeah, man. I definitely agree with you on that. I'm surprised his agents, maybe they went for the best deal out there and it was Jacksonville. Yeah. All right. Maybe. But at the same time, I would have cautioned him to say, if you really want to play, you should look at some of these lower tier teams, like especially like if he had gone to Cleveland right now, he could be playing. Yeah. Because you know who played for Cleveland? Joe Flacco.
Brought him off the couch to play this weekend. Yeah. Yeah.
He wasn't even in the league, right? Yeah. So like if he was on that team, then he would be playing. So I don't know. I don't know if the future for him is at Jacksonville, because maybe some team just goes, all right, you got that guy there.
Yeah.
maybe we can get him for a trade.
Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't. Other teams didn't reach out to him this year and try to solidify their quarterback ranks, especially when you got some season-ending injuries with some other teams. But yeah, I was just a little disappointed that he never got to see the field this year. Trevor Lawrence has had a pretty decent game, 200 yards passing, 2 touchdowns through the year. He scored 1 touchdown on the ground, as I mentioned, and but yeah, we'll see. It looks like who has the ball? Yeah, Jacksonville does have the ball, and just over a minute left. So I'll give some updates later on. Okay, the game of the weekend was the Philadelphia Eagles hosting the San Francisco 49ers. Everybody was really looking forward to this game and saying, this will really prove who is the top of the NFC East. And overreaction Monday, suddenly everybody says the Eagles suck and the Niners are the team to beat. And I'm pretty choked. I'm pretty choked at hearing expert after expert of just writing the Eagles off now. They're bums. They suck. They allowed 6 straight touchdowns to the Niners. And, I'm like, come on, guys. Like, you were just calling them the eventual Super Bowl champions a week or two ago. And now, they had one off game and that's it. They're bums. This is typical, but it's still very aggravating and shitty to watch.
You know what I saw? I saw a tired Eagles team.
Yeah.
That's what I think. Like, I think they just kind of ran out of juice because
gas,
they gave so much in that Bills game. And also, too, the 49ers had a longer break than they did, right? Yeah. So I
10 days. They were off 10 days from Thanksgiving. So, yeah, they had a long time to prepare.
Yes, they had a long time to prepare. They were well rested. The Eagles were not. Yeah. And then that's what I saw. Because the Eagles kept it close until the 49ers just eventually pulled away, right?
Yeah.
And then yeah.
I think there was a few things that would have changed this game and turned it around. So Philadelphia, first quarter, San Francisco didn't do anything. They actually had the worst quarter they've had under Kyle Shanahan. They were like -6 yards or something crazy. And no first downs, 3 and outs, boom. Philly marched all the way down and stalled, kicked a field goal, marched all the way down, stalled, kicked a field goal. If they would have had a little bit different play calling, if they were able to utilize the run game a little bit better, I think they could have punched in those 2 drives. They're up 14-0. I think that changes the whole entire complex of the game. I think all of a sudden the Niners got to, try to get away from their running game, and the Eagles can utilize the running game. I don't know why the Eagles didn't run very much at all yesterday. I was shocked, and they're such a good running team. They're getting 6-7 yards a carry, and they barely were able to utilize that part of the game, and it was a mistake, I thought.
I agree with you on that. It was a mistake because I think their top runner was Jalen Hurts, and that wasn't impressive at all because he only had 20 yards. Yeah, he did have a touchdown with that, but it's only 20 yards, man. So, I think you're absolutely right. If their play calling was a little bit different, a little bit more crisper, being up 14-0 does change the dynamic of this. I think
it would have really, really changed it. For some reason, they just decided not to tackle Debo. I guess. Missed you. And Debo was able to get 3 touchdowns. Such a big force. The crazy thing about the way the season has gone is Trent Williams and Debo Samuel out, and Niners lose 3 straight games. And so, how 2 players make such a difference. And not too many people today were talking about the Eagles. They're losing, they're missing a lot of key guys, especially in their linebacking core. And if those guys were in there, they were really lacking yesterday in their linebacking and their corners. They weren't doing a great thing. The weapons that Niners have are tough and very, very, very tough. You have to have your full squad if you're going to beat them, if you're going to shut them down. And when the Eagles didn't, it showed. But every team, if they have some big holes, guys missing, and a team attacks it, they're going to be able to, expose that weakness and be able to, get the yardage, get the scores, get it going. And so, I am definitely 100% not writing off the Eagles. And,
No.
so many people are. They are still first in the NFL, 10-2, first in the NFC. They can beat Dallas this weekend, put Dallas, to bed for winning the division, and, still march on to have the best record in the NFL.
Absolutely. Just like you said, the 49ers have so many freaking weapons on the offensive side of the ball that if you're missing a couple top guys on your defense, you're in a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
You're in a lot of trouble because they'll just stress that part of your defense all the time because they have the guys to do it. And with Deebo Samuel, he's a special player. And there was many times where when he was running, it looked like he was shot out of a cannon.
Yeah.
And where you're just like, you had a shot, but it's only for a split second. If he didn't make the move, he's gone. Yeah. And that's exactly what happened, right? So I'm with you. I don't write off the Eagles. They had a ton of injuries on the defensive side of the ball. They're still a very, very, very good team. And I'm excited to see what they do against Dallas next week.
The Eagles' two starting linebackers that were out were Nakobe Dean, who has a Lisfranc injury. He's supposed to be back December 18th. He's eligible to come off the injured list there. Zach Cunningham had a hamstring injury, and he's been out for the last couple of weeks as well. Definitely Nicholas Morrow and Christian Ellis struggled when they were covering Deebo and Ayuk. They allowed 5 catches, 122 yards and a touchdown. So, definitely they weren't able to fill that hole there. But the Eagles added a very big piece today. They signed Shaq Leonard and brought him in. He was waived by the Colts earlier a couple weeks ago. And a lot of teams were jockeying to try to sign him. It was between Dallas and Philly in the end. And he ended up choosing Philly, so very happy about that. He underwent 2 back surgeries last year, and it has hampered him a little bit. But if he can get up to speed in any capacity as the season wears on, and he can, show the form that he's shown in his career, I think it's a huge add. He was the defensive rookie of the year when he came in 2018. He's been a first-team All-Pro 3 different seasons, 2018, 2020, and 2021. 614 total tackles, 30 tackles for loss, 15 sacks, and 17 forced fumbles. An amazing career. I think he was not utilized very well in Indy. Wasn't seeing the field as much as he wanted. Asked to be let go, and they granted him that. And it was a big ad, and I'm happy that the Eagles addressed it and brought him in today.
Oh yeah, man. They needed to address their linebacking issues, and that's the way to do it. Yeah. That's the way to go and get it done. So great for the Eagles. Looks good for them, especially since Dallas lost out on them, and then they get to play them this upcoming weekend. So stuff.
And the other thing is Zach Ertz is in discussions with Philly, could re-sign there and come back. Dallas Goedert broke his arm a couple of weeks ago, and they missed a tight end. Very important for Hurts to be able to get that. They might have been able to get those 2 touchdowns on those drives I talked about. And Zach Ertz really could come in. He's familiar with that team, familiar with the offense, and I think he would be a seamless fit.
Yeah, I think that's almost like a no-brainer. If they can get him, they should get him. Yeah. So, hopefully that's what happens.
Brock Purdy had a great game. That first quarter, they didn't do anything, but the next 3 quarters, wow, they were able to utilize their weapons, show their strengths, and Purdy played great. They were trying to avenge that NFC Championship loss when Purdy hurt his elbow and had to leave the game. I guess they get a little measure of revenge there, but I think these 2 teams are probably going to see each other in the playoffs, and we're going to see another battle, and hopefully both teams will be healthy then.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what's going to happen. Hopefully, yes. Hopefully everybody's going to be at the peak of their powers because that's the game that everybody wants to see.
Yeah.
Where it's best on best and everybody's healthy, and then let's see who is the best. And Purdy was awesome. He went 0 for 4 in the beginning of that game, but then throughout the rest of the game, 19 to 23. So
yeah. Pretty impressive. Yeah, 314 yards and 4 touchdowns. So yeah, holy crap. I heard somebody say that they reminded him of Joe Montana, and a guy that was there with the Niners, a guy that utilized a lot of really quick bullet passes, and I'm very impressed with Purdy a lot, and yeah, he's got so many weapons. I think a couple weeks ago I joked, I think you and I could be under center, and with those weapons probably do quite well.
Yeah, and if you're doing the Joe Montana comparison, I believe Montana had quite a bit of weapons too back in the day. Yeah. So, it's warranted kind of, because let's be honest, that's still Joe Montana that you're comparing people to. So it's let's see what else the young man can.
Yeah. Few more years, a few more years.
More.
Philly, looked good early. Got kind of stalled, and I think if they would have utilized the running game, we would have seen a lot better. The crazy thing was there was a stat. That first drive, Philly got into the red zone, and up came a stat that said Philly had scored 12 touchdowns on the last 12 appearances in the red zone. And it was, all of a sudden, holy cow, they were lethal in the last few games. That Buffalo game, many games going into that. And, boom, somehow they got stalled. Sort of a, announcer's jinx kind of a thing. Boom. 2 stalls, only field goals. When the Niners started scoring, it was 7, 14, 21, bam. But as you mentioned, the Eagles go to the Cowboys this coming weekend, which will be a battle for that NFC East. Eagles still hold the tiebreaker right now, so even if they do end up tied right now, the Eagles would still win the division, but we'll see. Sunday nighter. Really looking forward to it. Hopefully the Eagles can be healthy. Hopefully Dallas can be healthy, and we get to see best on best.
Yeah, exactly. That's what everybody wants to see, and I'm very much looking forward to it, because the Eagles are not going to come out and do this again. That's not what's going to happen. They're too good a team, too well coached.
The 49ers host the Seahawks on Sunday, the 1:05 kickoff time. This is for the second time in 3 weeks these teams will play each other. Seattle didn't play very well last time. Hopefully we get to see a little bit better performance this time.
Yeah, I think the Seattle Seahawks will come out with a better effort for sure for this game, but I still have a sneaky suspicion that the 49ers still beat them.
Yeah. Speaking of the Seahawks and the Cowboys, they ended up playing on Thursday, and Cowboys ended up pulling out a 41-35 win there. Cowboys to 9-3, Seahawks fell to 6-6. The winning percentage of the teams that Dallas has played this year are .384. 384 winning percentage. So stomped on a ton of teams. This is a team that's that was one game above 500, but most of the wins that they've got have been against some pretty lousy teams. Dallas was able to. The Cowboys were down 35-27 early in the fourth, and then they scored 14 unanswered to pull it out. Dak Prescott looked pretty good. CD had a great game as always. Jake Ferguson, Brandon Cooks all got touchdowns. Tony Pollard got a touchdown on the ground. And Deron Bland got another pick. Not a pick 6, but he was able to get a pick. He was targeted a lot early, and he wasn't having a very good game. And then he came up with the big pick, and that was a very big turning point near the end of the game.
Yeah. It was funny that they were actually going after him, right? Which is, I guess it was working up to a certain point until he made that pick, which actually literally turned the game around. Once he made that pick. So it's like, I guess you could only pick on that guy for so long.
Yeah.
Until, it goes wrong for you.
Exactly, yeah. Geno Smith had a great game, 334 yards passing, 3 touchdowns. and he had a 5-yard touchdown run himself. DK Metcalf was phenomenal. 3 scores on 6 catches, 134 yards. The big 73-yarder was amazing to watch, and as I couldn't believe the speed. I think they said it was the fastest run calculated this season, beating all those Dolphins ones that we've talked about a few times.
It's amazing how fast and how athletic that man is at his size. That's all I can say. Like, it's just, it almost defies reality, which how fast he can move. And the fact that he can now literally say to Cheetah, Tyreek Hill, it's like, oh, you're not that fast.
Yeah, that's amazing. Hey, yeah, incredible. I know that he lined up for a 100-yard dash this summer and finished 6th, I think it was. But yeah, to be at his size to be that fast is just shocking because first of all, it's hard to bring him down anywhere, but when he's going that fast, like, how do you stop the guy?
Well, you don't. You let him score. That's what happens. He runs away from you.
Amazing. Incredible. Yeah. And Bobby Wagner ended up getting his 100th tackle, 12 years in a row, Hall of Famer. Great to see Bobby back there and still contributing heavily. And Dallas, they've been able to roll up a really good record, but as I said, terrible opponents this year. Seahawks, a bit of a test, but not one of the elite teams. Dallas has a 13-4 record in December since 2019. That's the 3rd best record in football. Green Bay 16-0 and KC 16-2. So pretty impressive company there. I don't know how Green Bay in December is 16-0. So amazing, and we'll talk about them upsetting the Chiefs on the Sunday nighter.
Yeah, well, you know what, Green Bay, it kind of makes sense because like they're from the frozen tundra. They love the cold, like they love it. They excel in it. Everybody else is like, this sucks. I'm freezing, but they're just like, oh, this feels great. It's almost like they all have Viking blood in them.
Yeah,
everybody.
I saw a whole bunch of guys with no shirts on, braving the cold, in the stands there. It takes a special person to be there in Green Bay. As I said, Seattle goes to San Fran for divisional battle there, and the Cowboys host the Eagles. Okay. Sticking with the NFC East, the Commanders ended up hosting the Dolphins. The Dolphins scored 3 times as many points as the Commanders with a 45-15 win. Dolphins moved to 9-3. Commanders fall to 4-9. Tyreek Hill has a really legitimate shot at getting 2,000 yards, the first player to ever get 2,000 yards. I think if he does get 2,000 yards, he's going to win MVP, and especially if Miami can stay right up near the top of the conference, maybe even win the AFC. Very impressive, man. The guy, you just got to get the ball up there, and he's going to run under it and take it to the house. The guy is just unstoppable.
I can't even remember the last time a non-quarterback won the award.
Yeah,
I can't even remember that. If he does get 2,000, I don't see how he can't win it.
Yeah,
because nobody's ever done that before. So that should just cement it on its own. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
And also too, about the game, I wanted to mention A-Chain was back.
Yeah,
and immediately scores 2 touchdowns.
Two. Yeah, I know. Yeah, both those guys were both monsters, and Raheem Mostert, great. This was a big mismatch. I saw the highlights, and it must have been fun to be Tua. He was able to, really use those amazing passes and get it out there, hand it off to HN, and he's back. Couple TDs. And Andrew Van Ginkel had a 33-yard pick 6 off of Sam Howell. This was, an absolute blowout. This was one of the worst games of Sam Howell's career. I'm not sure what happened with him, but I guess Miami just Good on offense, good on defense, and easy win there.
Oh yeah, easy win. Commanders were completely outmatched, and Tua and the boys had a lot of fun playing this game.
Yeah. The Dolphins host the Titans on the Monday nighter. That should be fun to watch. The greatest show on turf, 2023 version. And the Commanders get a bye. They play the LA Rams on December 17th. NFC West, we've got the Niners 9-3, Seahawks 6-6. The Rams are 6-6, and the Cards are 3-10. This was a Rams game against the Browns. They hosted Cleveland. Rams won 36-19. Rams 6-6. A lot of people kind of projected them to win 5 games this entire season. Really surprising a lot of people. 500 team. Browns fall to 7-5. As I mentioned off the top, they're down to their 4th QB. So yeah, no big surprise that they fell in this game. But Matthew Stafford, great game. Kyron Williams, he kind of just came out of nowhere, having a phenomenal year. Puka Nacua, another 100-yard game, touchdown. Cooper Kupp got a TD, and great defense. And yeah, a very solid win by the Rams.
Yeah, and with Kyron Williams coming on the way he has, he's actually given the Rams a legitimate run game.
Yeah,
legitimate run game, which is awesome because the Rams didn't have that. But I will say this about the Browns. Joe Flacco looked pretty good.
Yeah.
Having come off the couch to just throw the old pigskin around for a little bit. You know what I mean? Like I'm watching him and going, should he look that comfortable? You know, like he hasn't played for a bit.
Quite the veteran though, and Super Bowl MVP he's got on his resume, and this is a guy that's been there, done that. So even though he's coming off the coach, I can do this shit.
Yeah, and he showed it. Like I thought that was pretty impressive for him to do what he did. So, but still not enough to get past the Rams. And yeah, the Rams looked really good in this game, especially Stafford.
Yeah, Stafford was great. Yeah, this team was good. Rams go to the Ravens. Very tough test. Sunday early window. The Browns host the Jags. And we've got a final in this Jags game? You got it up there. Oh, they're in overtime. Jacksonville did kick a field goal, put into overtime. We got 3 minutes left, and Cincinnati's got the ball. 2nd and 9 at the Jacksonville 41. So marching down. Jake Browning trying to get the Bengals a victory. They'll need another probably 5 yards or so to make it a sure field goal. We'll see what happens. Okay, sticking with the NFC West, we'll get the Cardinals. They were able to get a big upset victory, 24-10 over the Steelers. Cards improved to 3-10. Steelers fall to 7-5. James Conner had the big game, couple touchdown runs. Trey McBride had a TD, and when they knocked out Kenny Pickett, that really was tough on Steelers. Even though Pickett hasn't been phenomenal, it was very he's been instrumental to get them to that 7-4 record coming into this game. Mitch Trubisky just really doesn't have it. And as I said, Cards were able to get the upset win. Yeah,
well, Pickett's definitely better than Trubisky. All right, so that was the problem right there. Do we know what his injury was with Pickett? I saw that he came up with a walking boot, but I didn't hear what his injury was.
Yeah, it's an ankle injury, and he actually ended up undergoing surgery today on it. They said though it's not massively serious, they expect him to be out 2 to 4 weeks.
I always love it when they say it's not that serious. Yes, he had to go in for surgery, but he should be pretty good. Like it's like he did go for surgery, surgery usually tells to me that it's kind of serious. But I love football people. It's like, no, just a little surgery.
Yeah, I know, isn't it amazing? Yeah, always blows me away when you hear surgery. You think, oh, season ender, that's it. Won't see him again, and then Oh yeah, 2 to 4 weeks. You're like, oh, okay. I don't think I'd be quite ready, but somehow these guys pull it off.
Yeah, football people are just different. They're built different.
Yeah.
But the Cardinals, great win. Murray, he did stuff, 145 yards and a touchdown. Apparently, that was more than good enough. And obviously, Connor was really their guy for that game with 25 carries, 105 yards, and 2 touchdowns. So yeah, Cardinals.
They're calling it a high ankle sprain, but it's unbelievable. I don't, you don't hear that you need surgery for a high ankle sprain. Usually those are very serious, and you're out for a while. Maybe the surgery rejuvenates you and you can come back much sooner.
Yeah, I don't see how that alleviates your high ankle sprain, having surgery. But then again, you know what? I'm not a doctor, so cool.
Yeah.
I guess it works.
I see a quote here that says it's underwent ankle surgery to accelerate the healing process. So, yeah. Okay. I'm going under the knife to accelerate my healing process. Here we go.
Nice.
But yeah, we've talked about the Steelers, and they had that first 400-yard game in 58 games, and all of a sudden 7-4. You're thinking, wow, they're pretty solid in there. This really could harm them, and they might fall out of the playoff race now.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Like, this is a game that they should have had. They should have been able to win this game, but them dropping this game it's going to be tough sledding for them for the rest of the year to make the playoffs.
Yeah,
for sure.
But guess who they play this coming week?
Jets.
Team that's worse than the Jets. Same division.
Oh. Panthers?
Patriots.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
2-9 Patriots. So even Mitch Trubisky could probably beat the Patriots.
Well, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully. Cards have a bye this week. They host the 49ers next, so it's very, very tough test for them. They're not supposed to be winning. I thought they were tanking. I think they're going to be angry at Kyler Murray pulling this one out.
Well, you know what? They're supposed to be tanking, and it's just I don't know what's going on, because they got rid of Dobbs for a reason, which was, you're too good.
Yeah.
Get out of here, beat it. And then they get their actual starting quarterback in, and it's like, why are you winning games? What is there something wrong? I think that's what you paid me to do. What you paid me to do.
Yeah, strange. Yeah, this is weird. But yeah, they got the third win. So Chicago is probably happy about that, because Chicago has Carolina's pick, and Carolina is 1-11 now. So it looks like the Bears will have number 1 overall pick. Patriots are trying really bad. They're 2-9, but the Panthers 1-11. So good chance that Chicago is going to pick number 1 overall. Okay, NFC South. NFC North. Sorry, NFC North. Lions have roared out to a 9-3 record. They're top of the division. The Vikings are 6-6. They had a bye. Packers are 6-6 now with their win. Bears also had a bye, and they're last in the division at 4-8. Lions were able to start off really, really well, super fast. They scored 21 points in the first 7 minutes of the game. This is the third team to do so since 2000. The Raiders did it twice, once in 2002 and once in 2010. So immediately up 3 touchdowns, just like that. And they were able to hold on. 33-28 win over the Saints. Sam Laporta. Man, you've been talking about him ever since the beginning of the season, saying how great of a pickup he was. He set a Lions single game tight end record with 140 yards and 9 catches, both career highs for him, and a touchdown. And he was one of the biggest factors why the Lions got this victory.
I think that guy's going to be one of the best tight ends we've seen play. Like, I really do. He has all the tools, and he's doing it in his rookie season like this. You know what I mean? Like, so he's super impressive to me. But then again, the Lions are just super impressive to me. Jared Goff has resurrected his career where we thought he was like over the hill. He was dead and gone. No, he is not.
No.
16 to 25, 213 yards, 2 touchdowns. You know what? The Lions are for real.
Yeah.
Lions are a real team, man.
I love Amon-Ra St. Brown. He gets touchdowns every week. They got a great rushing attack with Gibbs and Montgomery. Both guys scored a touchdown. Jameson Williams, and they were 2-0 in the turnover battle. Derek Carr had a pretty decent game, but he got knocked out again with a concussion. That's his second concussion in a month, so I don't expect him to play this coming week. I think they'll put him on the shelf and make sure that he's fully healed from that. Pretty tough that a guy has to suffer two concussions in a month. I actually am working with a guy that suffered 2 concussions within about a week at work here just this past couple of weeks, and he's not right. He's having a hard time. He's been really struggling, and they compound on each other when you get them so closely. So I think they're going to be really careful about Derek Carr going forward.
Yeah, well, I think it's pretty much as part of the players' union contract that they have to. And then also, too, it doesn't look good if they try to trot him out there. It's like, does he know where he is? Oh, he has no idea.
No idea.
So he's playing, right? Can't do that anymore. So it's cool that, you know, he's obviously going to be taking a time out. I'm wondering what they're going to do, because I think in this game, once he went out, they kind of did Taysom Hill and Jameis Winston,
yeah,
forth a little bit.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm just going to say it. I just love to see
Taysom.
Just have him as a quarterback and let him play.
Yeah.
Put him in.
I would. He would be my starter for sure. I would put him in there and leave him in there. Jameis, you know, thanks for holding the clipboard, but Taysom would be great to have full time.
Yeah, I don't understand why they don't trust him to do that, because literally the man does everything else.
Yeah.
Why can't you trust him at quarterback?
I love it. Yeah, let's hope. I hope they do. There was a huge other injury in this game. Alvin Kamara had a run, and as he was running out of bounds, a Lions player pushed him. He ended up running into a sideline official. The official ended up breaking his fibula, dislocated his knee super seriously, was in massive amount of pain, screaming. They had to haul him off on a cart and take him to the hospital. It was disgusting. It was a brutal looking injury, and it's dangerous on the sideline for those guys. He wasn't able to get out of the way in time and took a really tough hit. And man, I hope he's able to recover from it. It looked ugly. His knee was sideways. His leg was pointing the wrong way, and it was tough.
Yeah, I think I saw a minor clip of that, and I remember hearing the like where people did the reaction, and you're just like, yeah, it's tough. It you know, like, especially like it happens so often because there's so many people on the sidelines. Like you've seen players bowl into like photographers and stuff.
No.
They got a tough job, man, and it sucks if you're not a player and you get hurt like that. That is tough. But
yeah.
I'm sure the refs have great medical. Well, geez, I hope they do, and because that dude is going to be out for quite some time. He is not going to be refereeing for a while.
No. Yeah, it was rough to see, and I felt very sorry for him. I see it almost every game. It happens to guys on the sideline, and that was the worst injury I've seen in a while. Okay, the Lions go to the Bears on Sunday for a divisional game. I see the Lions winning that one, and the Saints host the Panthers Sunday, so another victory. Could be, and hopefully Taysom Hill's under center there. Okay, I mentioned the Sunday Nighter briefly earlier. Let's talk about it now. The Packers were able to pull out the 27-19 victory over the Chiefs. Packers are now 6-6 and 16-0 in the December games. Chiefs fall to 8-4. This game, I think, is going to be remembered though for the terrible referee calls down the stretch, especially the non-call on Marquez Valdes-Scantling. Big pass by Mahomes down to about the 5-yard line. He was hit before the ball got there and wasn't able to make the catch. No call. Horrible, terrible call. And then Mahomes was running out of bounds on another play, was still in play, got hit, dropped back down. They called the unnecessary roughness, 15-yard penalty to keep that drive alive. Those two really stood out for me. Very horrible calls. And even people are saying that there was pass interference on the Hail Mary at the end of the game. Travis Kelce was shoved and wasn't able to make a play on that ball. But yeah, very, very bad officiating. And it really marred the end of this game, which was actually a pretty interesting, pretty fun game to watch.
It was a good game. And I remember watching the Valdes-Scantling play, and I'm like, didn't that DB get there way too early?
Yeah.
Like I had to watch it a couple times. I'm like, yeah, he did get there too early. Where's the flag?
Yeah.
No flag. Here's the thing I do want to say about the Chiefs, that I think this is actually now beginning to hurt them.
Yeah.
They don't have a legitimate wide receiver threat.
Right. Yeah.
I think that's now beginning to hurt the Chiefs. Yeah. That they don't have a number one receiver out there to go along with Travis Kelce.
Yeah. Huge. Yeah. I mean, Tyreek Hill, imagine if he was still there. Yeah. They just have not been able to get any decent talent to really complement Kelce and be sure-handed for Mahomes, and it's really hurting the Chiefs big time.
Yeah, like it's really beginning to show now. Like it really is, because as awesome as Mahomes is, he still needs a little bit of help. You know what I mean? Like every once in a while, and that's what's beginning to really come forth for me as I'm watching these games with the Chiefs.
Yeah, you're bang on for sure. That's what's happening, and it's tough. No matter how great Mahomes is, when he just doesn't have guys that are catching the ball and getting open, getting into those places. There's only so much he can do. But yeah, those horrible referee calls, I don't know what they were thinking, what they were doing. I really wish they would have got some of those right, because there was at least two very, very blatantly bad missed calls there. Packers go to the Giants, and that's the Monday nighter, and the Chiefs host the Bills Sunday. That should be game of the week. I love when the Chiefs and Bills play each other. That should be a fun game.
Yes, that will be a great game. It always is a great game, and both teams are going to be looking to play their best to win that game, because both teams need to win that game.
They do.
So
yeah,
kind of a must win.
Important. Yeah, both teams are desperate need of victories there. So should be fun. Okay, NFC South. Your Falcons are leading the division by a game now, 6-6. Woo! They got it. Huge 13-8 victory over the Jets. Oh man, was this an ugly one? Oh man, there's been a lot of dog games in the NFL this season, and this one was one of those ones. Younghoe Koo was the big hero. 2 field goals, a 22-yarder in the third, and a 42-yarder with 3:38 left in the fourth. That was kind of the difference. Both teams not great, but Falcons were able to get to 500 and dispatch the Jets 13-8.
What a game. You know what I mean? Like that's all I can say. It's like, oh man, it's typical Falcons. Typical Falcons win 13-8. Whatever, man, we won.
Yeah.
And that was pretty much the most important thing. I looked at both quarterbacks and I'm like, they just set the world on fire with that offense. Would you look at that? Ritter with 121 yards, Boyle with 148. But at least Ritter had a touchdown. The other guy had an interception. So, yeah, I think that's about all I can say. Bijan Robinson is always a bright point for the Falcons. He does stuff. Yeah, there we go. I think I'm done.
Yeah. Yeah, not a lot to talk about. Pretty rough game. Bud Dupree got a couple sacks, looked pretty good. Jesse Bates had a nice pick and 5 tackles. Good defense there. McCole Pruitt only touchdown in the entire game. And yeah, the Jets host the Texans and the Falcons host the Bucks. So yeah, another one of those battles in the South. So Falcons are 6-6. The Saints are 5-7. Bucks are 5-7 as well, and the Panthers are 1-11. So let's talk about the Bucks and the Panthers. They fired Frank Reich last week, midweek. Didn't make much of a difference. Panthers still lost 21-18. Do we still say in Baker we trust? Or should we just turn that to in Mike Evans we trust? Another massive game for Evans. This guy just seems to have defied father time and rolled up another 162-yard game with a touchdown and another 1,000-yard season. This guy has had a very decorated, amazing career, and it must be nice for Baker to have him and Godwin to throw to throughout the game, and you can always count on Evans to supply great catches and a lot of yardage.
Yeah, he's Mr. Dependable for sure. And yes, for this one game, I'll say in Evans we trust because they trusted him and he came through for sure. So yeah, Mike is unbelievable. He's awesome. Mayfield he did enough to win. 202 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. But I do want to say on the other side of the ball, our Canadian Chuba Hubbard, 25 carries, 104 yards, 2 touchdowns.
2 touchdowns. Yeah.
Break it.
I'm very happy for the Edmonton native. 2 touchdowns. Good for him. 104 yards. Yeah, great game. Fantastic. And I'm glad he's finally getting a very, very big opportunity there. And yeah, he's somebody that they can keep building on. This team obviously needs to build from the ground up now that they've fired Reich and brought in a new regime. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, good on Chuba. Glad to see he's doing so well. As I said, the Panthers go to the Saints Sunday and the Bucks with the Falcons. Okay, now we're finally in the AFC. We always start in the AFC East, and we already covered the Dolphins, and the Bills had a bye. The Jets we covered, so the only team left is the Patriots, and this is another one of those ugly games. Oh my God. Chargers won 6-0. Dicker, the kicker, the only points in the game, 2 38-yard field goals. Herbert, half decent game, but man, 6-zip. Oh man, I'm glad I didn't watch this whole game. Definitely would have put me to sleep. And I don't know why the Chargers had such a hard time with the Patriots, but they squeaked out the win.
Patriots had amazing defense, I guess. You know what I mean? Like they were just like, wow, if there's one thing we can do, we can D you up. We can't score, and we didn't. So that's weird. We can't win the game, but man, our defense was on point. So I don't know what else to say. Like right off the bat for me, the Chargers. How do you only score 6 points? Like what happened? They actually have a fantastic offense, and for them to only score 6 points, it's like something fell apart there. But you know what? They got to win. So even though it was the boringest game ever, and nobody should have watched that because why would you want to do that to yourself? But yeah, Chargers, go Chargers.
I'm frustrated. Oh man. I can't believe Staley's still in there, but yeah, they were able to get the win. They host the Broncos Sunday. Broncos finally lost after a 5-game win streak. Divisional battle should be fun. Patriots go to the Steelers. That's the Thursday game. Not looking forward to the Patriots Steelers. No Kenny Pickett. Bailey Zappi. Oh man, I think I might pass the Thursday nighter this week and just watch the highlights. The Bengals have pulled off the 34-31 and win in overtime. Evan McPherson got another field goal, 48-yard field goal with 1:45 left to go in overtime to pull off the huge win and give Cincinnati a much needed victory, giving them a 6-6 record now on the year and falling Jacksonville to 8-4.
That is an impressive win by Cincinnati. That is a super impressive win against a very tough Jacksonville team, especially with Browning stepping up the way that he did.
Yeah,
I don't know if he can continue this torrid pace, but it would be great if he could.
yeah.
Be great for Eagles fans.
That'd be great for them. Yeah, amazing. Okay, we just got 2 games left. No, we got 3 games left. AFC West, we've covered most of the teams, but we do have to cover the Broncos. The Broncos snapped their 5-game win streak with a loss, 22-17 to the Texans. I was really looking forward to see how the Broncos could keep going, especially against CJ Stroud and this up-and-coming Texans team. Houston ended up picking off Russell Wilson in the end zone in the last minute to preserve the win. And CJ Stroud, another great game with 274 yards passing and a touchdown. Nico Collins had a phenomenal game, almost 200 yards through the air. And unfortunately, they lost the Tank, though. Tank Dell fractured his fibula and is out for the season. That was such a big blow and really tough on a team that's really up and coming, 7-5 record. And Tank's been fun to watch. Really great rookie season. Really feel sorry for the kid.
Yeah, that sucked. Saw when he was getting carted off, one of his legs didn't look quite right. So I was like, okay, so that's a season ender. So that sucks. But you know what? At least the Texans got the win for the young man, and they did well. And the Broncos, you're going to have a tough time winning games if you are intercepted 3 times.
3 picks. Yeah.
Right.
Russell not on his game as much as he has been. The guy that I love watching catch the ball is Courtland Sutton. Wow, that guy's a weapon. He is fantastic, but I don't see a lot of other great weapons that Russ has there. But 3 picks was, the killer and gave the Texans the victory. Texans go to the Jets, play Sunday, early window, and the Broncos host the Chargers, as I said, in the later window. AFC North, covered that game actually. Jags, as I said, 8-4, Bengals 6-6. Jags go to the Browns Sunday, Bengals host the Colts. And speaking of the Colts, they were able to get a 31-28 victory over the Titans, improving to 7-5. This is pretty shocking. The AFC South, we could see 3 teams in the playoffs from the AFC South. Jags 8-4 lead the division, and the Colts and Texans both 7-5. Right now, currently, if the playoffs started tomorrow, both those teams would be in the playoffs. Pretty wild to see such a difference from the NFC South, AFC South. Man, imagine 3 teams going from this division. It could happen.
Yeah, that would be surprising if that were to happen. If that trend were to continue, I don't know if it will, but hey, they've shocked a lot of people just getting to this point.
Yeah, Gardner Minshew had a phenomenal game. 312 yards passing, couple touchdowns, really was able to utilize his weapons. 2 receivers over 100 yards, Pittman with a touchdown, Alec Pierce with a touchdown and 100 yards. And they were really able to pull off a great game. Titans utilized Derrick Henry really well, and he had 122 yards on the ground and a couple touchdowns. But the Colts able to pull out the big 31-28 win. Yeah,
Titans just didn't have enough in the end. They kind of ran out of steam, and the Colts got her done. And they were impressive while doing it. Like, I was really impressed with Pierce. Actually, was his 3 receptions with 100 yards and a touchdown. Yeah. That was pretty awesome, man.
Yeah,
He's good.
He's good. Yeah. Colts go to the Bengals Sunday. Titans go to the Dolphins the Monday nighter. So, and that is the NFL story. The only story that we didn't touch on during that Philly San Francisco game, I wanted to ask your opinion. The incident that happened between Dre Greenlaw and the security chief for the Eagles, Dom DeSandro, both ended up getting into a shoving match. Both got ejected from the game. A lot of people are saying that DeSandro should be suspended, never allowed to be on the sideline again. To have a player getting chucked out for getting into a fight with a security guy, kind of crazy. And what did you think of the incident?
I thought it was brilliant on the Eagles, on that head security guy. You just got one of like the top defensive guys for the 49ers tossed because of your actions. If I'm the Eagles like franchise, if I'm like GM, hey, I'm giving you a little bonus check, buddy. Thanks. Because I'm sorry, man. Like if that's the trade-off, great trade-off. I'll take that every day. I will take that every day.
No doubt. Yeah. Do you think there's a suspension coming for him?
I don't know, man. They both got heated. It's in the heat of battle. Yes, the guy's not a player. I don't know if he's ever played in his life. I know nothing about the man, but these things happen. They happen all the time. Like it's football. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Maybe he gets a suspension. I don't think the team's going to give him a suspension.
No.
Why would you do that?
No.
Great
trade-off. You're right. Great trade-off. Thanks, buddy. Everybody probably patted him on the back in the locker room once they got back there after the game.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it did them no good, but still, you know what I mean? Like, hey, I would want that guy on my sidelines all the time. If you can get a top defensive guy off the other team from your antics, yeah, go for it. Go for it every time.
Yeah. They interviewed him after, and he had some pretty interesting comments, and then he guaranteed an Eagles win against the Cowboys this weekend. So even made the Eagles team and fans even happier about him.
That's good. That's good. He doubled down. It's like, I regret nothing. And by the way, we're going to beat them Cowboys.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't know the security chief before. Now I do. And he's suddenly become one of the most loved mans in Philly.
Yeah. Well, hey, Philly fans love a tough guy, right?
Yeah.
Because they're a tough scene. And with that guy doing what he did, I'm sure Philly fans are just like, can he do that more often? Can he possibly do that more often?
Yeah. Let's hope. Yeah. I'd love to see him out there a bit more. Yeah, trying to get some more guys tossed. Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it, man.
Okay, that's the NFL story. So now we get to talk about the UFC, who had an absolutely phenomenal card. UFC Austin. This was a great event. You and I did a preview about it and said, hey, man, the matchmaking did a really good job, and I'm very impressed with a ton of this card. It kind of just came out of nowhere and ended up being one of the cards of the year. They had a sellout attendance, $2.5 million gate. It was the highest. It was the highest gate ever for a U.S. fight night, Dana White said, and the highest grossing sporting event in that arena's history in UFC in Austin. I thought it was fantastic with 2 body slam KOs back to back. Something that we've never seen in the history of the sport. We remember some of the very, very big body slam KOs, but to have 2 back to back, that was unreal. Lots and lots of very amazing knockouts, very great submissions, a lot of crazy things. I thought they only did one thing wrong with this card, though. They only had 1 Texan on the card. Here in Vancouver, we had 6 Canadians on the card, and it just amped it up. All Canadians ended up winning, and it really was nice to be able to cheer for your hometown our home country guys. And there's a lot of Texans in the UFC. And I was shocked. The only guy that was from Texas that ended up on the card was Zachary Reese, and it was his UFC debut. And I don't know why they wouldn't have tried to put a lot of local flair like they do on a lot of cards. Were you surprised by that?
A little bit of surprise, because as impressive as the gate was, it probably could have been more impressive with a couple more Texans sprinkled into the prelims and stuff. So I was a little bit surprised, but at the end of the day, this was an excellent card.
Yeah, true.
With excellent, with the matchups were put together. They were all very, very good, very well put together matchups, and yeah,
you're right. I love the card, very great. I just think there could have been a lot more. I put a list together of guys from Texas that are on the roster. Jared Cannonier, Jeff Neal, Sean Jordan, Alex Morono, Chaz Skelly, Adrian Yanez, the Black Beast, Derek Lewis, on and on, Trevin Giles, Daniel Pineda, on and on. It's Houston has the 5th most UFC fighters from any city in the world, just from Houston. Rio has the most fighters in the UFC. Dagestan has the 2nd most. Los Angeles, the 3rd most, and Sao Paulo, Brazil, has the 4th most. Houston, Texas, 5th most provider of UFC fighters. So that just struck me kind of weird, and I thought I'd make a mention of that. Dana White was feeling kind of like Santa Claus heading in December, only 3 weeks away from from Christmas. He ended up giving out 10 bonuses, $500,000 to the fighters on this one. 8 bonuses and a fight of the night between Poteria and Bellato. And we haven't seen Dana White be this generous in quite a while.
Well, I guess it is getting close to Christmas, so maybe he was in the gift giving spirit by giving out some money, because you know what, these guys earned it. It was a great card. Yeah. So I don't see that there was a problem with what he was doing, because what you put on matches that good, you should be rewarded for that.
Yeah. Everybody that got a finish got a bonus, and then it was fight of the night too. So that was awesome. We'll start with the main event. This was supposed to be a very great 5-round battle between 2 very high-ranked light heavyweights. We got the number 4 ranked Beneil Dariush against the number 8 ranked Arman Sarukian, and it lasted just over a minute. This was a veteran against the young up-and-comer, and somehow Arman was able to utilize a game plan. I saw an interview that he did today, and he said that they practiced over and over and over throwing a fake knee, and soon as Beneil made a move towards trying to protect that knee by dropping his hands, immediate overhand right, landed on the button, dropped him, was able to land a little bit of grounded pound, put him out. Very impressive performance, and he suddenly becomes right up there as one of the next contenders for this lightweight belt. And dispatched Beneil, who's had a phenomenal career, and a guy that's been in there for many, many years. I was blown away and very impressed with what Arman did.
Beneil's number 4 in the division. You don't get number 4 by being a scrub. He's really, really good. And the fact that he took him out in 70 seconds, so when he threw that knee actually, it covered up the next strike.
Yeah.
Because Beneil never saw that punch coming.
No.
And it's the punches that you don't see coming that will knock you up, because you're unprepared for it. And that's exactly what happened. He threw that knee, and before his knee was even down, he was throwing that punch. Yeah. It landed, and it was night, game over. You're done.
Yeah. I was very impressed and blown away, and it really puts him right up there, top 5, able to start calling out some of the top guys out there. he did call out Islam Makhachev, who is the champion. They fought each other back in Russia, April 20th of 2019. It was a unanimous decision win by Islam, but on all accounts, people that remember say it was actually one of the stiffest tests that Islam has had outside of that first Volkanovski fight. And 4 years, maybe 4.5, 5 years later, we'll see what Sarukian has been able to learn and be able to add to his game to see if he can beat Islam this time.
I think because of that dominant win against Dariush, Sarukian either only has to fight a top 3 guy or he fights Makhachev next.
Yeah.
Like that's it. Like that's all he has to do. Yeah. Fight and beat a top 3 guy, and then he fights Makhachev or fight Makhachev next after win. Yeah, that's it.
I'm not sure how the UFC views Sarukian. I don't know if he moved the needle and is able to get a lot of pay-per-view buys. I'm not sure, and that might be a factor for them. The top 3 in the division right now are Charles Oliveira #1, Justin Gaethje 2, and Dustin Poirier 3. All those guys definitely move the needle, and that means something quite often to the UFC and a lot of people. Pay-per-view buys, and I don't know if Islam. I don't know if Sarukian Islam, sells enough pay-per-view buys. Maybe it's something that you put in the UAE and you get a huge international crowd there, but I don't know. What are your thoughts?
To a certain extent, I know sometimes I look at that, and that's the politics of the sport that I don't like.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it should be the best on best, regardless if you pull in people or pull in eyes. I don't, for me personally, since I'm a purist, I want to see the best guys fight each other.
Sure. Yeah.
Regardless of if they draw eyes or not. I don't care. And I think right now, personally, I think the toughest test that Makhachev could have is Sarukian.
Yeah.
That's how
Okay. Yeah, well, we'll see what they put together. Amazing performance, and he's right there. If he can, he might get the shot against Islam, or have to fight one of those top 3 guys, and then if he can win that, get the next shot. Michael Chandler's right behind him. I saw a really good interview with Michael Chandler again today, and Michael Chandler says nobody's on the table except Conor McGregor for me, so he's out. Gamrot 6 and Rafael Fiziev 7. Probably doesn't want that himself, having to do that. There was talk maybe that he would fight Justin Gaethje for the BMF belt, and then be able to turn around and fight whoever wins out of Islam and Poirier or Oliveira, whoever they put next. So we'll see. But interesting that he was able to vault from 8 to 4 and be right in that mix again.
Yeah, no, and I think that's the best part for him, was that he put himself in the conversation.
Yeah.
Even if others may not want him in the conversation, he's there now.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, the co-main event. We saw Bobby Green come in. Jalen Turner was a late replacement for Dan Hooker, who broke his arm and had to fall out of the fight. Jalen Turner had lost to Dan Hooker his last fight and was coming off 2 straight losses. But then he came in and really knocked out Bobby Green badly. This fight is being talked about for the late stoppage that Kerry Hatley handled. I didn't find it as bad as I'm seeing online. A lot of people are saying it's the worst late stoppage in the history of the sport, but I didn't really see it that way. But what are your thoughts on what everybody's calling a terrible stoppage and Bobby Green getting KO'd pretty badly?
I'm not surprised that you didn't find it that bad. I'm not surprised at that, because you're just like, well, he's still moving, right?
Yeah.
And so as with you as a ref, I'd be like, okay, that guy's gonna go until you can't move anymore, and then he'll call the fight. And that's kind of what Hadley did. He's like, hey, he's still kind of moving around, and then finally when he wasn't moving anymore, that's when he called the fight. Now, personally, when he was already on, when he got rocked, and he was just like he did the jiggle, I was just like, all right. And then he got hit, goes to the ground. He's pretty much KO'd then.
Right.
And then Turner's just kind of wailing away, kind of looks at the ref. He's like, oh, okay, then. It just keeps wailing away, wail. And then, like it's always very telling if the analysts are like, so what's he waiting for? And for me, I'm like, I think he's waiting till he's really like almost dead. That's what he's waiting for. He wants to make sure that this fight is over definitively. He's not moving anymore.
Yeah.
Then he'll call the fight. So I personally think it was a little late. I think a little late, but you know what I mean? But hey, it was definitive. Turner definitely got the KO.
Yeah.
And he got the win. So there you go.
I'm old school. I like giving guys the benefit of the doubt, giving them the best shot. Bobby Green might have been able to pull it out. You never know. I've seen guys in trouble worse to be able to win. And, I'm not going to throw any shade at Hatley. He was giving him a chance. He was still movement until he wasn't. And then that was it. So, I got no problem with it. But Bobby Green, might have a little bit of memory loss about it. So we'll have to have him onto the podcast and explain to him what happened if he hasn't seen any of the replay.
It's like, no, you know what? We'll just tell you what happened in the fight. You remember the fight? No, I don't.
No,
fight.
He probably doesn't. No.
Yeah.
I heard that. I was watching Mike Perry talk today. Mike Perry and Eddie Alvarez had a bare knuckle fight over the weekend, and Perry said they were both in the hospital getting stitches done, and they were on the gurneys next to each other, so they started chatting. And at some point, he asked him a couple of questions, and Eddie Alvarez said, "Did you knock me down? I don't even remember. I don't remember. Did you knock me down?" And he goes, "No, I never did." And he's like, "Oh, okay. Yeah, I wouldn't have been able to tell you one way or the other. I can't remember much of that second round." So, but they were battling, and then they ended up having a long chat. Bobby Green ended up getting into quite a few altercations fight week, and Sarukian and him ended up coming to blows in the hotel in a hallway, and then Bobby was just by himself, and Sarukian was with his entourage, his corner guys, and a few Armenians. And then Bobby ended up going and getting his guys, and they came down, and they ended up having a fight in the lobby of the hotel, and it became pretty heated and crazy. Did you see those clips?
I did. I saw the first clip when Bobby was just by himself.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But I didn't know what started it off, because I don't know if Bobby felt like he was being trapped or cornered by these guys. I don't know what happened there. Yeah. But I just remember his reaction was pretty extreme. Yeah. Which was something was said, and then that literally set him off. And then he was just like, "All right, well, you got a bunch of your guys. I'm just going to go grab a bunch of my guys, and then let's go."
Yeah. Well, from what I saw in the video, and I don't know how staged it was, because why was somebody filming it in the first place? Why do they got a camera on it? And Bobby's just sitting in a chair looking like he's minding his own business. And you're a fighter, you walk up on somebody like that, expect to be in a fight, somebody comes up to me, 6 guys are coming up to me and getting into my face, good chance I'm throwing a punch before I'm going to get hit, it just seemed like it was an ambush, and Bobby was just, trying to get, protecting himself. But, then he went up and got his guys came down. I think Armand wasn't part of that anymore. I think somehow he exited the situation. And so it was, Bobby's guys fighting against Armand's guys. But it sure stirred up some things, and I wondered if Bobby was injured at all in the altercations, because two of the fights really Bobby was involved in big time.
Yeah, I know. And that's a great question. If he was compromised even going into that fight, which he could have been, right?
Yeah.
You never know. But you do make a valid point of when it first happened, it was already being recorded.
Yeah.
So you can say that the guy that they may have said, let's set it up like this so that you can get some more negative or good publicity. It's still publicity, because exactly what you were talking about. Eyes to the screen.
Yeah.
Does Sarukian draw eyes to the screen? Maybe he's aware of that. Maybe his team is. That's why they did that.
Yeah. Trying to, get a lot more people interested in him, and starting to, get some pay-per-view people interested in that. But to see both of those being filmed, I just wonder about it. Why was somebody filming it as they're just coming up? If it was just going to be a friendly, oh, hey, Bobby, how's it going? It just seemed like it was a bit staged to me. So I hope he wasn't compromised going in. I haven't heard from Bobby yet. Even after this knockout loss, I haven't heard anything from him. But I've heard now that Jalen Turner got this big win. I mentioned some of the other guys in the division. I heard a lot of people say that the next opponent is probably going to be Rafael Fiziev, the number 7 ranked guy in that division, which would be, I think, a great battle for Jalen Turner.
It would be, but isn't Fiziev still getting over that kind of massive injury that he suffered in his last fight? Like he wouldn't be able to fight for at least a couple more months still, right?
I guess that's very true. Yeah. True enough.
So
yeah,
it would be a great fight, but like he still got to recover from that injury.
He does. That's true. Okay, let's talk about the Davison Figueiredo fight against Rob Font. A lot of people said that Figueiredo wasn't going to have much of a chance fighting at a higher weight class. We're going to face guys that were way bigger than them. They said that Rob Font's really way too tough, and they were given an advantage to him. Figueiredo looked great, absolutely phenomenal. He was faster, tougher, better at grappling, better on the ground, everything. I thought very dominant performance, and good to see him finally fighting somebody else than Gabriel Moreno, and fighting, getting an opportunity to move up in weight and not having to cut so badly. I loved his performance, and I couldn't say anything more.
I was impressed with his grappling. Yeah. His grappling and his takedowns were just I didn't know he was that good. Like he was stellar in those aspects, and also too his powers carries. Yeah. His power carried up to, because he wobbled Font a couple times.
Adam hurt a couple times for sure.
Very, very hurt a couple times. So I was impressed. Dominant win. Unfortunately, Font was game, but he did not come close to winning this one.
No. I think I said Gabriel Moreno. I meant Brandon Moreno, obviously. 4 fights in a row they had over a 3-year period. So, yeah, finally, great to see. And Figueiredo, should be able to fight some top guys now. There's talk about maybe Peter Yan being his next opponent. Peter is ranked number 5 in the division. Peter was on a bit of a slide there. He lost to Aljo the second time, split decision. Then he lost to Sean O'Malley, complete robbery, split decision. Yan deserved that win. And then Merab Dvalishvili killed Peter Yan. So, I think Yan needs to find somebody, and I think Figueiredo might be the guy.
I think that's a great fight. Dangerous fight for Peter Yan, because there's no guarantee he can beat Figueiredo. None.
No, true. Yeah. Exactly.
So, it's a great fight.
O'Malley is next against Chito Vera, who's number 6 ranked in the division. So, I'm not sure where they're going to rank Figueiredo. He was unranked in this division coming in, but we'll see after this where he goes. You mentioned Philadelphia, tough guys, as we talked about the Eagles fight there on the sideline. Sean Brady is Philadelphia is one of their toughest guys, and he was able to take out Kelvin Gastelum with some amazing takedowns, amazing control on the ground, and then a really nasty Kimura that Gastelum ended up having to tap to or making a trip to the hospital and being in severe pain. He's so tough, so strong, and once he got hold of that arm, he was able to really make sure that he got the victory. And I like watching Sean Brady. I think after losing his last fight, first loss of his career, he came back and had a very, very terrific performance in this one.
It was utterly dominant when it went to the mat.
Yeah.
When it went to the ground, he was utterly dominant. Gastelum had really no answers for any of it. Brady is he is that good. And I'm going to actually add this. When he put that Kimura on, I personally believe he went easy on Gastelum.
Yeah.
He gave him a chance to tap.
Yeah.
Because he did not crank that the way that he could have cranked that.
Yeah. You're right. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I thought the same way. I was like, okay, yeah, he gave him a shot here. He was like, okay, I'm just gonna just get it to the point where, hey, okay, it's time to tap. If not, I move it a little bit more, you're in big trouble. And he really, utilized very good sportsmanship there and didn't, destroy the guy's arm.
Yeah, like I'm looking at it going, oh, wow, he's actually being nice about this.
Yeah.
Because like that's him being a sportsman, being nice, being saying, I'm going to give you a shot to tap because I know if it was like a Paul Craig, your shoulder is gone.
Gone. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, he utilized restraint there for sure. You're right. Bang on. Yeah, 100%. I've heard that his next opponent could be Gilbert Burns, the 37-year-old former title challenger. Brady did call out Ian Machado Gary. I've been hearing so much terrible stuff about Gary. I don't like this guy. I think it would be great to see Brady beat this guy up really badly. Gary fights Vicente Luque next, December 16th, so a couple weeks. But he said if Gary wins, but he doesn't think he will, he would really like to beat him up. And the Gary stuff, wow. I don't know if you've heard some of the things that he's been saying, but I'm very, very disgusted with Ian Gary and his talking up, trash talking, to try to get fights. It's ugly, and I don't like what he's been saying and doing.
He's been going to places that you shouldn't go to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he's calling out things where I'm like, all right, it's cool to attack the fighter, but not anybody else, not the family, not the people associated with the fighter. Attack the fighter, right?
Yeah.
And leave family out of it. I've never liked that. I never liked it when anybody does that or utilizes that. Like I think that's dirty.
Yeah.
And then so if the other fighter, and also too, I think personally that just gives the other fighter more ammo. So when he comes in, it's just like, oh no, I have righteous anger. I'm going to beat the living hell out of you.
Yeah.
Right?
I think somebody's gonna hurt him bad. Yeah. I think somebody's gonna hurt him bad. Yeah, he's trying to be the next Conor McGregor, but he's utilizing some really disgusting things. Neil Magny came out and said that he almost lost custody of his kids because Ian Gary was calling him a child abuser. And it was over a comment that he said, I'm going to spank him like I do a child or something. Just, throw him back whatever crap that he was throwing at him. And he turned it around and just started calling him child abuser. And it was utilized against him in his child custody hearings a few months later. And he almost lost 100% custody of his kids over it. So, and there's been way worse things too said. So, yeah, this is a guy that's, going offside. And Sean Brady's one of the latest guys to call him out and try to exact some revenge on it.
Okay, that would be a good fight. But I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be a little bit selfish here. I think the better fight is him and Gilbert Burns.
Yeah,
I love that fight. I love that. as long as Gilbert's good to go, because I know he suffered some injuries in his last fight. I don't know if he's 100% yet, but if they could make Brady Gilbert Burns, if they could make that fight, oh man, oh yeah, make that fight. Please,
amazing. Yeah,
make that fight. It's a great fight.
Yeah, that'd be so great. Yeah, I would love it. Okay, let's talk about the Joaquin Silva Clay Guida fight. The legend Clay Guida. Man, he's been in there so many times, Hall of Famer. But Silva was able to really dominate throughout. He was able to just beat him almost everywhere. And Clay was game, and he was very active as always, but Silva ended up getting the nice victory there.
Yeah, because like the one thing with Guida is he's going to actually try to out hustle you and out stamina you, and Silva knew that, so his stamina held up, and he was able to have very effective counters. He hurt Guida with a sneaky uppercut. I remember in one of the first 1 or 2 rounds and stuff, and it's just his counters were really, really good. And that's the thing with Guida. He's really hard to put out. Silva almost had him out of there, but like it's Clay Guida. Like it's like you really got to put him out.
Yeah,
for him to get him out of there. So
he's zombie like.
He's zombie like. Yeah, he is.
Yeah. There was talk that Joaquin's next opponent would be Rafa Garcia. They both are coming off of wins against Clay Guida, and Silva has been up and down in his UFC career. Only 2-3 in his last 5. Rafa is actually 4-1 in his last 5. They're both wanting to go up the ranks of that 155, and that should be a pretty damn good fight. Dustin Stoltzfus got a very big win in his fight. He had his back against the wall after losing 3 of his last 4, getting the very nice submission victory over Puna Soriano. I was pretty impressed with Stoltzfus, and he seemed very happy being able to taste victory after a bit of a rough stretch for him.
No, it was a great victory by him against a very dangerous opponent in Soriano, who can put you out with either hand. And but Stoltzfus was good because Soriano's attack became obvious.
Yeah,
he was always going for like the left, and so after he realized what he was trying to do, he was able to pretty much negate it and get his offense going. You can see that he was gaining in confidence round after round until finally he was able to take him down and get the rear naked choke. A very, very impressive win by Stoltzfus.
Yeah, I thought it was amazing. I heard a lot of people today say his next opponent should be Christian Leroy Duncan, CLD. He's coming off a victory over Dennis Tillulin in November. 2-1 in his UFC career and 9-1 in MMA. I like CLD, and that could be a very, very, very tough and great fight.
No, that should be a very good fight. Hopefully, they make that fight happen.
Miesha Tate looked phenomenal in getting her submission over the Raging Panda, Julia Avila. Miesha really has looked pretty damn good since she's made her return after about 5 years off, and she might have just earned a spot on UFC 300 in a revenge fight, a trilogy fight against Ronda Rousey. Did you see that when I sent you that via Instagram?
Yeah, that's right. Is that a thing?
I don't know. They got a poster made up, but I don't know. They've offered Rousey supposedly $15 million to make this comeback. So I don't know. That might be a thing. But I sent it to you because I was like blown away by the poster that had already been made up.
That would be cool. I just don't know if she really has it in her, if she really wants to do it or not, regardless of the money. I really have a big, big question mark, because if she doesn't train hard for that fight, Tate is going to wipe the freaking floor with her at this point in time.
Yeah.
Like it would be embarrassing if she's not fully committed to that fight.
Yeah. Well,
So
I was really impressed with Misha in this fight. She looked great.
yeah, no, she was dominant.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for Avila, she had no takedown defense, none whatsoever.
Yeah.
And then when Tate got her to the ground, Avila had no way of getting up. She couldn't do anything. Like she was just, oh, I'm down here now. Oh well, now I'm gonna get beat up. I'll wait till the next round. Oh wait, she did it again.
Back down, back down. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a, I thought Avila would have showed more, but she didn't show me anything, and Tate showed me everything. That how dominant she is in the grappling department and just how good she is, and it was just a matter of time. Like I think Tate knew that. She just had to be patient and just keep doing her thing, and then she eventually got the rear naked choke finish.
That was it. Okay, Cody Brundage got the second slam KO in a row. We'll start with the second first. Cody had got himself in a little bit of trouble in an arm triangle and an arm bar, and then he picked up Texan Zachary Reese and just dumped him on the side of his head, was able to knock him out. And when he took the microphone, he said, yeah, I saw somebody do that just before I came in here. And once it started happening, I thought, okay, I guess I'm doing it again. And bam, he was able to get the KO. Pretty cool that he witnessed it just before. He might not have done that because when you practice BJJ, you are told not to do that. You're told that you pick up a guy and try to bring him down. He's going to get it even in deeper, and you're in more trouble. So he probably saw that, changed his mind, decided, oh, here we go. I better do this. Try this, and he was successful getting the big knockout.
Yeah, and the one thing that I think that was unique to both of these powerbomb finishes for both guys is they were able to dump the guy literally on their temple,
on the side
of their head.
Yeah, and
that was it. Like that's if you get rattled to your temple, that's when your body was a little and like it's done. It's like it misfires all over the place, and then that's what happened with Brundage. Was able to get him on the side of the head and knock him out, and that was key.
Yeah, because quite often you see him bring them down, and it's just on their back, and sometimes they hit the back of their head, but usually they got that whole back to protect them. But the first one when Jakar Close had the guy, and he just sort of turned him to the side and then slammed him down, and this immediately knocked out Joe Selecki. And I guess Brundage was able to see the same thing. So very fun. It brought me back to June the 20th, 2004, Saitama, Japan. Rampage Jackson doing it in Pride. One of the greatest highlights of all time. Do you remember his slam knockout?
Yes, I do. Was it Ricardo?
Arona,
yeah. I remember that because that particular slam was classic WWE. Like that was literally a WWE move that he did in real life in a real fight. Worked.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and that was one of the hugest slams you ever saw. Just the way how high he picked him up. He had him up near the top of his head and then just absolutely crushed and brought him down and KO'd him. And it was one of the most viral moments from back then. And you got to see some pretty cool things from Pride back in the day. But that to me was one of the ones that I'll never forget.
Yeah, there was that one. And then there was the one with Matt Hughes and God, I can't remember the other guy's name.
Maybe Frank Trigg.
No, it wasn't Frank Trigg.
Oh, okay.
It was the light-skinned black guy that was Canadian.
Oh, Carlos Newton.
And it was almost a double KO.
Oh, right.
because they were counting it out to see who would come to first.
Right.
Yeah.
I remember that one. Yeah, that was crazy. Yeah. They almost both were knocked out. So yeah, that was great. Yeah, it was pretty incredible to see these two slam knockouts, and that was Drakar's third win in a row. He's married to former UFC fighter Courtney Casey. I forgot about that. This was Close's first fight after blowing out his ACL. He was trying to prepare for a fight against Mark Madsen last year, and his ACL was torn, had to have surgery, and had to take quite a long time to recover, over a year. 8-2 in the UFC, and that one will get him some more big fights.
Oh yeah, no, that was an amazing finish. Amazing finish. Like I was very impressed because I think he delivered maybe 1 or 2 strikes when he didn't need to.
Yeah.
Because when he slammed them, he was out.
He was out. Yeah.
He was out.
Yeah.
Out of the
Yeah, the referee didn't jump in quite soon enough to save the guy. He was already done. There was academic punches landed down there. As I mentioned off the top, there was 8 bonuses for all the finishes, and there was also a fight of the night, and that was Rodolfo Bellato ended up getting a great comeback victory over Ihor Peteria. This was phenomenal. Peteria looked phenomenal and really great in that first round. Had Bellato in all sorts of trouble, and the Bellato turned the tables and was able to get great comeback win. This was his UFC debut, and got fight of the night, $50K for this great victory. It was impressive.
And he got revenge for one of his icon, Shogun, because he thought Peteria was being a little too cheeky with his celebrations, and he thought it was super disrespectful for an icon of Shogun's stature. So he did that for Shogun, but he did it the hard way. He really did it the hard way, because Peteria was super accurate, always catching him coming in.
Yeah.
Caught him coming in a ton of times. The one thing that I was impressed at is like, Bellato's not changing how he's going to go about it, though. He just kept pushing forward. He kept pushing forward to the point where Peteria actually got tired.
Yeah.
He punched himself out, I believe, trying to take him out. Didn't work.
That's
and
true.
then Bellato came back.
Yeah.
And that was I was so impressed with his will to win, because that was literally the only thing that was pushing him. And then he got the ground and pound finish, and it was impressive.
Yeah.
Impressive win.
Yeah, very incredible, and really nice debut for him. Loved it. Jared Gordon got a submission win. Nice victory. After Wellington Turman dominated the first round, he was able to get the big comeback and got the rear naked choke win. Other than that, that's all I have to mention about this card.
Yeah, I'm good with that too. Great card, man. Fantastic card.
Before we just really preview quickly the fight night that's coming up this week, I wanted to mention Jamal Hill was arrested. They said it was for domestic violence, and usually that's a guy and having an issue with his wife, his girlfriend. This ended up being his brother. Supposedly he beat up his brother and ended up getting arrested for it. That doesn't sound like a great night, and I wonder if we're going to hear what happened and what was the story there.
That might never come out.
Yeah.
But I do know this. I think Jamal Hill's supposed to be still recovering from his Achilles, so he's not actually 100%, but like when you're a former champion and then you fight like a normal person, even if it's a family member, yeah, you can't bully that guy anymore. That doesn't happen anymore. Those days are over.
Crazy. Yeah. Jesus. Over. Yeah, over for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I wanted to mention UFC was able to sign a guy this weekend. Fury FC 84 was held in Houston, and this Cuban prospect Roberis Despine ended up getting signed. He's 6'7". about 285 pounds. He has to cut down to 265. He's 4-0 with 4 first-round KOs. His last 3 fights have lasted a total of 19 seconds. All 3 combined, 19 seconds. He got a 3-second knockout, a 4-second knockout, and a whole 12-second knockout his last fight. Really looking forward to seeing this guy in the octagon, and hopefully they give him a shot early 2024. This big Cuban guy that's KOs guys really badly.
Oh, what's his name again?
It is Roveres Despain. Despain is his last name.
Okay, all right. So they managed to find a monster and put him into the UFC. That's always good because it's like, oh wow, that guy's like a monster. Let's see what he can. Oh man, the fight's over.
I watched those all 3 of those KOs, and man, they were just brutal. Immediate, bam, done.
Done. Okay, yeah. I'm looking forward to it. I always like seeing the guys where it's just like, oh, that doesn't look right. Like where it's just like that doesn't look fair because that dude is way too big. It's like 265 is already a big man, but you're telling me you got to cut down to that.
Yeah,
because you're too big already.
Yeah, he's massive. The guy's massive. Yeah, he looks scary. Okay, as we said, this UFC card from Austin looked great on paper and delivered. This UFC Fight Night 233 that's at the Apex looks like a pretty weak card to me. Not super impressed with a ton of this. This is taking place in Las Vegas at the Apex. It was originally supposed to be in Shanghai, China. For some reason, they pulled the card from China. So they lost a bunch of fights off this card because of it. There was supposed to be 4 fights that were on here for the road to UFC that they do out of Asia. All 4 were canceled. And they also canceled the light heavyweight fight between Brenson Ribeiro and Minyang Zhang. There was some visa issues with them that they weren't able to make it. So they've ended up, it's fairly weak card. I'm not sure what happened there. The UFC in Seoul, Korea was pulled earlier this year as well when the Korean Zombie got injured. And I haven't heard why, but I don't know. I look up and down this card and there's not that many fights that interest me. Maybe the Song Yadong Chris Gutierrez fight at the top could turn out to be pretty good. It's number 7 ranked against number 14 ranked, so I'm not sure exactly why we've got such a disparity in the rankings there, but maybe the co-main with Anthony Smith, Khalil Roundtree, number 8 against number 11 in the light heavyweight division. But what do you see?
Yeah, well, you know, I would say the main and the co-main could be pretty good. I think the co-main, I think that doesn't go to decision. I think somebody getting knocked out in that one. And the other fight that I would point to that could be an interesting fight would be Hack Perez and Malarkey.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. Good for me. I did want to mention that BKFC Platinum Mike Carey ended up beating Eddie Alvarez. Eddie's corner wouldn't allow him to continue after the second round. He had a badly broken orbital bone, and he didn't want to suffer more damage. Perry has definitely found his calling in the bare knuckle fighting realm. He's 4-0 so far and seems to have really risen up and being the face of that organization. Alvarez came in. He's getting a little long in the tooth. He's 39 years old now. I was wondering if he would give him a fight. He actually won the first round and really had landed some really good shots on Perry. In Perry's corner between the first and second round, I really think they did a great job telling him to make some adjustments. He ended up landing some really big shots, had Alvarez in all sorts of trouble, and it was over. after 4 minutes. Only 2-minute rounds in the bare knuckle fighting championships. And Perry has left the UFC and been able to find his home now. I think this is going to be something that makes him a lot of money and a lot of fame, and he'll get a lot of victories. Beat some pretty tough guys in his time there.
Yeah, well, Perry's always a tough guy, and he can throw hands.
Yeah,
he can certainly throw hands. And another thing I didn't know about the 2-minute rounds. Actually, you know what? That's a good thing.
Yeah,
those kind of fights should not be 5 minutes around. That's a little too brutal.
That's
2 minutes,
true.
more than enough.
Yeah, 2 rounds is tough and tough enough, and unreal. So okay, that's the combat sports world. We've got to finish quick. We're running out of time. It's late for both of us, but let's just touch on the NBA in-season tournament. First 2 games of the quarterfinals were held tonight. Indiana Pacers pulled off the huge upset. They won 122-112 over the Boston Celtics. And very, very, very impressive performance by Tyrese Halliburton, career high, triple-double, 26 points, 10 rebounds, 13 assists, and he was the main reason why they were able to pull off the big upset win and advance to the semifinals.
Yeah, he's the engine that stirs that drink for the Pacers. He's that good. He's definitely going to be an all-star this year. Like it. The Pacers have the #1 rated offense in the league, and that's all because of him.
Yeah,
that's all because of him.
They have the #1 ranked offense. They allow the most. They score the most points in offense, and they allow the most points in defense. So usually their games are very high scoring, and he's one of the reasons why they have won is what they've won. What are they, 11-8 now on the season? So he's been phenomenal. He scored 28.5 points, 13.5 assists so far in those tournament games. And I really figured Boston would take this. They were favored by 5. They've got the best record in the league, 15-4 on the season coming in, and they beat the Pacers earlier this year, 155-104. Tyrese didn't play, but 155 they put up on the Pacers earlier last month.
Yeah, well, you know what? The Pacers aren't known for their defense. Just they score a lot. Yeah, they don't play that kind of defense, but hey, it was a very impressive win for them tonight, and Halliburton was definitely the one that was leading the charge for them to win this game for sure.
Yeah. And in the second game tonight, another huge upset. The New Orleans Pelicans beat the Sacramento Kings. Kings were supposed to take this. And you and I talked about this as we were going towards this tournament. It was 4 teams that, really utilized this as kind of their NBA championship and a way to really highlight, that they're good and up and coming and be able to take a win. I did not expect New Orleans to beat Sacramento tonight, and they won, as I said, 127-117, and really utilized a lot of balanced scoring. Brandon Ingram led the way with 30 points. Who else? Herb Jones got 23. They were able to get a double-double from Jonas Valanciunas, 18 and 11. And Zion only scored 10 points, but big win for New Orleans.
Yeah, and I'm happy to see that CJ McCollum is back with the team. Had 17 points himself with 7 assists. I'm just happy to see that he's over his issues there and he's back with the team, because that guy is awesome and he's instrumental to whatever the Pelicans want to do to win in this for this NBA season.
Yeah,
they need it.
Pelicans had won both of the games against each other this season, and so maybe it's not as big of an upset as I expected. The Kings were favored by 4. They were 4-0 in the tournament, and the Pels were 3-1, and the Pels record was only 11-10 going into this one. But as you said, CJ Brandon Ingram, very important, and got the win. Moving on. So there's 2 more games tomorrow, settling up the semifinals. The Bucks host the Knicks, and the Lakers host the Suns. The Bucks are favored by 5.5 going in this one. Milwaukee was 4-0 in the tournament. New York was 3-1. Bucks are 14-6 on the season. New York 12-7. They did play against each other November 3rd. Milwaukee won 110-105. Despite Jalen Brunson having a huge game, getting 45 points in that one. The Bucks really won, but with their 3-point shooting, making 20 3-pointers in this one. Damian Lillard, fantastic numbers in the tournaments, 30 points and 7 assists a game. Giannis, 25.5 points and 8, almost 9 rebounds, and shooting 62%. Brunson's playing phenomenal. So is Randall. They're both really complementing each other, and quickly being that third guy in the mix for them.
Yeah, and also too, don't forget about RJ Barrett. He can be in the mix at points in time. So I'm looking forward to seeing these games tomorrow with the Bucks and the Knicks and the Suns and the Lakers, especially now with the Suns having Devin Booker back and playing at a very, very, very high level at this point in time. So yeah, man, so far so good for the in-season tournament. It's gone off well.
This stat really blew me away when I heard about the Lakers. A lot of teams seem to be trying to raise their level up quite high when it's a tournament game compared to just a regular season game. The Lakers were plus 74 in their tournament games scoring, minus 107 in all the rest of the games they played this year. So, yeah, they're gearing up, obviously, for the tournament. A lot more than the just regular season games. Lakers won all 4 of their tournament games, only 12-9 on the season. Phoenix only 12-8, 3-1 in the tournament. Lakers are actually favored by a couple points in this one. LA won both the meetings against the Suns this year, but Booker never played both games. You're right, it's good he's back. And the Suns are 7-2 this season when both KD and Book play against each other. And LeBron's happy to go to Vegas. There was just reports that just came out that LeBron really wants to bring an NBA team to Vegas when he retires. He wants to have an expansion team, wants to be the owner and have a team there. And I suppose he'll draft his sons into there and try to make a run for Vegas and hang out with Tom Brady, who owns part of the Raiders. And yeah, we'll see a lot of LeBron all over Vegas if he makes this happen.
Yeah, and also too, there's been rumors that Shaquille might join him in the ownership group, trying to bring a team to Vegas.
Yeah,
I would say if you have those 2 guys leading the charge to get an NBA team to Vegas, probably could happen.
Yeah, probably could. Yeah. NBA players of the week were De'Aaron Fox in the West and Julius Randle in the East. Pretty impressive by them. November players of the month was Jokic in the West and Jason Tatum in the East. The rookies were Chet Holmgren in the West for OKC and Jaime Jaquez Jr. for the Heat. And yeah, all these guys are playing incredibly well. The top coaches right now are Jamal Mosley for the Magic and the T-Wolves Chris Finch. Both guys really surprising everyone with their teams. And another player of the week didn't get an award, but Kevin Durant ended up passing Moses Malone for 10th on the all-time scoring list as he scored a bucket in the final minute of the first half on the weekend. He has been on a tear. He's went from 20th on the list to 10 in 13 months, past just so many legends, and now is just really trying to attack the top 10 now, and really solidifying a Hall of Fame career.
Yeah, yeah, we know how good Kevin Durant is, and he's just stacking numbers right now, stacking numbers and just showing everybody just how good he is, and he's very, very, very good.
I'm blown away. I'm blown away by how great of a scorer he is, and just going on and on. Um, I I watched an incredible game on Saturday between OKC and Dallas. Luka Doncic couldn't have done any more. It was incredible. He had a triple double, 36 points, 15 rebounds, 18 assists. Dallas went on a 30-0 run. They were down 24. They went on a 30-0 run. That's the biggest run since 1997-98. And then OKC ended up pulling it out in the end. Crazy game. Luka ended up really running out of gas, committed a couple turnovers in the last minute and a half there. And what a crazy game. Luka played 46 minutes and he scored or assisted on 81 points. That's the most by any player this season. And he joined Oscar Robertson as the only players in NBA history with 35 points, 15 rebounds, 15 assists multiple times. And this was his 59th career double-double, tying him with legend Larry Bird. What a game. What an incredible game to watch. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander played phenomenal too. And they just went back and forth. And Luka, I couldn't believe he didn't pull it off. That run was just shocking. And what a game for him. But OKC ended up pulling off the win.
Well, you know what? I'm glad they did, because they should never have lost that freaking game in the first place, right?
Yeah.
But that's the magic of Luka. Because let's just look at that stat line says it all. 36 points, 15 rebounds, 18 assists. Yes, he had a couple of turnovers. That's because he was exhausted.
Yeah.
He did everything for that team. So Luka's just always a pleasure to watch. He's amazing.
The other team that's blowing me away is Orlando. 9 wins in a row. Franz Wagner posted his third straight 30-point game. Paolo Banchero, 28 points, 13 rebounds, 7 assists on the victory over Washington on the weekend. And their coach, Jamal Mosley, has this team playing great. This is the 4th time in franchise history they've won 9 straight, but it's the first time in 12 years. And this is the best start they've ever had in the season, 14-5. They are ranked actually first overall in defensive points allowed, and they're increased their scoring over this record streak. They were 23rd best in scoring. They've actually increased all the way to 9th best over these 9 wins. And they played Brooklyn, the Cavs twice, the Pistons, and they could push this to about 13. They play the Celtics on December 15th, so that might end the streak. But really shocking how good they are right now.
And it's their defense. It really comes down to their defense, and they are long and they are aggressive with their D. They are impressive to watch. I've watched a couple of their games, and their defense is something else.
Yeah, blown away by them too. So that's it. That's all she wrote. Amazing weekend in the world of sports, and lots of fun stuff to talk about. I'm glad you got to see a lot of great stuff like I did, and stay out of the rain. And man, I wish I could just invent a huge umbrella and put it over you for the next week so you can stay a bit dry. One good thing that happened today is one of my good friends, Leah, ended up starting on our show today. And that made me super happy. They hired some new people today. We got a new swamper today. And there's maybe about 4 or 5 new faces today. So that was quite interesting. And I know tomorrow I'm going to get soaked too. But let's hope the forecasters are a bit wrong and it's not going to be so wet the entire week.
I just hope it really comes down hard tonight.
Right.
Then gives me a little bit of a leeway tomorrow. Please God, you hearing me? You hearing me? Yeah, he probably doesn't hear me. Anyway, so yeah, all good either way. It's gonna be fun. And then I think I was just gonna mention this. I think it's either tomorrow or Wednesday. We're gonna get a resolution on what the actors have voted on.
Oh, good.
I think it's literally either tomorrow or Wednesday
Excellent.
where the votes will come in. So we'll know if it's a yay or a nay.
Wow. Okay. Well, fingers crossed it's a yay.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Yeah. Wow. Oh, thanks for letting me know. Yeah, I wondered when that was coming, so it's happening soon. Wish me luck that they start Christine Sinclair tomorrow and you don't see me getting escorted out of BC Place for causing a riot. And I'm gonna have to come home and watch those basketball games after. But yeah, they better start Christine tomorrow. It'll be a crime if they don't.
Yeah, because I don't want to see you on Sports Center saying, "Oh, we got this man, Derek Campbell, lost his mind at the game, had to be escorted out by police." It's like, I know that guy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been a while since I've had any kind of run-ins like that, so hopefully it'll be in a lot more years too.
Yes, of course. Hopefully, I'm joking, but yeah, I hope that they do play her. I hope that they play all of those people, all of those people that deserve their just desserts. They deserve their flowers. They deserve to play the entire game. That's who the people came to see.
Yeah. Fingers crossed. I'll let you know.
For sure.
Hey, man, have a great night. Yeah, I'm sure we'll talk through the week. Take care. Thanks a lot.
All right, man. You take it easy. Have a good night.
You too. All right. Bye for now. Okay. Yeah. Great podcast as always. Thanks so much for tuning in. Love it. Yeah, I was entertained. Hope you were too. Thank you to our partners and sponsors. Want to thank Anchor.fm, the easiest place to make a podcast. Verbero, the hockey equipment and apparel company, an industry leader in technology, performance, and value. V350 stick is a must-have for anyone in your hockey family. Forever Living, the aloe vera company for health and beauty products. And Pampas and Possibilities, designers of West Coast pretty things for your home. Go onto our website, you'll be able to find a ton of details and lots of discounts for everything there. So take care. Have a great week ahead. Love you lots, and we'll talk soon. Bye for now.